Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. My name is Wayne Supernova. In the last episode, well, we went through two testimonies of the Skulkin brothers, and we actually learned something very important, that being that, we think that Mr. Windibank was shot from outside the storeroom, as in the door was open, he was shot, and then Gina locked the door afterwards because she didn't want to get shot as well. But the Skulkin brothers, for some reason, aren't testifying to the fact that they heard a gunshot at the time, because in my proposed thing, if it wasn't the Skulkin brothers, it would have had to have been someone who was behind them that had come in after them and had a grudge against Mr. Windibank for some reason. So they would have had to have fired a gun over the Skulkin brothers' heads and shot Mr. Windibank in the back, killing him, and then snuck out without the Skulkin brothers noticing them. But you would think if they heard a big gunshot, they would turn around and see who it was. But they're not saying that. And I think the main reason that they're not saying that is probably because of that they mentioned earlier. They're just like, he'll gut us if we talk anymore. I think that's where the truth of this lies. It's whoever they're not being allowed to talk about that's behind this. So that's interesting.
Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict of not...
Uh-oh. I'm gonna laugh like Ganondorf real quick. An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing? You'll find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zeeks. I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive. I dare say, such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly, credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? I say, Lord Van Zeeks. Might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground, The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Well, there goes another chalice. Add that to the death counter. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. Yep, exactly what I was saying. The gun of the Skulkin brothers couldn't have been fired twice. It was only fired once. By George, count bullets?
Oh dear. He noticed then.
Huh? What's everyone talking about? Counsel. Yes, sir. Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime. Two bullets. Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene. Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have been passed through his body to strike the calendar. Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are two firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windibank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired for each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these two brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness! I think you'll find
that if the single But if the single bullet was fired from the brother's gun hit Mr. Holmes, it means...
Winterbank, not shot by same gun. Stop. Only one bullet. Stop.
Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Ah!
Order. Oh, god damn it.
There's another death to the death counter. Why do you do that, man? That's so rude. Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hollowed nectar into the public gallery.
Lord Van Zeeks.
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print, which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence that the prosecution wishes to present.
Oh, so you have the disc. That disc.
I want to fucking check that.
I'll be taking that whatever it is of Mr. McGilden's down to the yard, thank you very much.
No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. Mine.
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilden has to be taken in as evidence now.
Yes, that music box disc. McGilden's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Winterbank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her, and with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence.
Good gracious.
Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact at its peril. You know what? I just thought of this. Now that we've seen this, this is just a, you know, connecting the dots sort of thing. Government secrets being leaked to foreign agencies. What if McGilded was in on that, and he was using those music discs to do so? And they were like, instead of it being like something that's actually played, because we were being told that the music box discs are different for like each production company, and you need a special box in order to play each one. There was like no leading producer of the stuff, so it was like everyone's music box was almost different, and the music box discs wouldn't work with specific brands and all that stuff. What if there's like coded messages on those, and they were using them to pass back and forth secrets? I think that would be interesting, and I think that could very well be the case. It's just a thought that ran through my mind. It's like, what if that's what's going on here? So we'll see.
I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel, as a grim testament to the defendants. Lord Van Zeeks,
Inspector Gregson, what? Yes, Inspector?
We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and, I think we agreed that that disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all.
I am unaware of any such meeting. But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent. Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. Indeed. Bailiff. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character, and I'm about to establish that the blood on this disc is green and matches the blood at the crime scene. Let's go. Come on, Iris.
Oh, Bruno, look! This is blood! Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before. Ha ha ha! Then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Bruno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash.
Come on, be green.
Yes, let's fucking go! Yes!
Oh, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped for colors matching. I've never been this hyped for colors that match.
Wait, that color. What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? The blood matches with the fucking shit on the wall. That means that it's blood from either Sholmes or the real culprit. Fuck!
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing more to add. Good day. Suck my dick. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case.
Well, you better not rest that case too quickly there, buddy.
I don't believe it.
I had the jury on my side for once. 5 minutes. Oh dear, it wasn't even for 5 minutes, Bruno.
My lord, I wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of fog up until now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer's probably obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it.
Oh no.
Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
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 Oh yay, summation examination number 2. That's fun. I don't think we're going to be able to finish that in this episode.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us? Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Your squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty.
Oh boy. Oh man. Oh man, oh jeez. Juror's contentions. He seems red in the face almost. I wonder if that's because of what he's smoking from the pipe. I don't think he's smoked anything from that pipe this entire game though, which is interesting.
Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every way you look at it, it was that pickpocket.
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns.
Well, that's suspicious as fuck. It would seem there is little remaining room for doubt.
I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more.
Ugh, the whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair.
Iris?
That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Jenny's done some things she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer.
Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually.
That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination. I was gonna say, yeah, we need to do the double hand slap. I do that to myself sometimes. People look at me, well, my family looks at me weird whenever I do something like that. They're just like, why are you hitting yourself? And it's like, I just needed to get myself focused and my head back in my headspace. I only do it once. Yes, my lord. So let's see what we can do with this. First we're gonna just press everything. As always. Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying?
Well.
Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge?
I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the greatest military organization in the world?
No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Well, greatest military force in the world up until now, maybe, but not in the future. Making assumptions about people just because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous.
Well, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. Let's not forget the girl had already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through. Can't deny it.
When you say that she'd shown she had it in her, are you referring to this?
Exactly. Tried to swipe that only a day earlier, Or am I mistaken?
Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that.
I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it.
Oh, yes, of course. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then he ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe.
We still don't know what tune it plays, though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy.
Gilded's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. Okay, I suppose I will look at it a little bit closer because I didn't check the back, of course. So we can definitely check this part.
Formerly Gilded. That's the man you defended in court a couple months ago, isn't it, Bruno?
Yes, or rather, mistakenly defended.
I wonder what his name is doing on the back of this disc.
That's a question I'd love to know the answer to myself. So yeah, that's it for checking this. So yeah, continue on with the pressing, I guess. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced.
Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes?
sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose. If there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware.
I'd have to reconsider my position. A third bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that be possible? I can't prove it at the moment. So I'm gonna go with it's impossible for right now. Unfortunately, only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during their investigation. Yes, I know. Right. I don't imagine the good men of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well, I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt. And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. It sounds like a crime scene to me. A third bullet. It would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it? Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere? I don't think so. I think if it were anywhere, it would be stuck in Mr. Sholmes's body. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it was that pickpocket. What do you mean by that? So if I've understood correctly, you need 2 pictures, a left eye one and a slightly different right eye one. Exactly! Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions, like this. So if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them. I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that? Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they? Yes, it's been mentioned once or twice. Well then, surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it? This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon.
Hold it!
What the hell does this mean? Did you have something to do with the operation on Mr. Sholmes? Would you please stop muttering things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it is nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Hairlick? No. Airlock? No. Hairlock?
Herlock Sholmes, by any chance?
Yes, good lord. It was the Hairlock fellow.
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see, the fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and I couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up in my
hands. Oh god. Yo, me too, man. Whenever I have to do something stressful, like take a test, I just puke in my hands and then fucking quit. That's exactly what happens.
I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but
Yes?
surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
The counsel for the defense is correct, as is clearly shown in this photographic print.
The bullet is that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes. The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just... I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Huh, who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do. I'm thinking he's a great surgeon, considering, Herlock Sholmes is a man of, well-renowned stature, I guess, is the term I'm looking for here. I'm pretty sure he'd know if the bullet exited the body. That's why he's so confused that he can't find it, which is exactly what I'm thinking. I think maybe Sholmes took it out himself? That would be fucking weird as hell, but it's something that I could see him doing, because he is weird as hell.
He's like, this could be valuable evidence. I will just take the bullet out myself and keep it.
As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did, and there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
What?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was somewhere in the man's innards, which is exactly why I set about slicing him up. I'm still none the wiser, even now. How many times do I have to say it? Could somebody please explain how it happened? Could somebody please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was able to... how the jury was put together. That's so true, though. This one, I can now press, right? It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Yeah, because this is the third bullet. Right? Allow me to show you then. The third bullet. This is correct, right? I hope it's correct. It's in the blood work.
Take that!
Oh. Well, maybe I have to do something different with it then. I don't suppose this would pass as the third bullet?
It passes for a bullet as much as you pass for a lawyer, my learned friend.
Coming from you, I'm going to take that as meaning not much.
In no way does it resemble a bullet, if that helps your understanding of my last remark. Oh.
Counsel, at the very least, I would expect the evidence you present to be of the correct form.
It's been a long day. Let's actually try to find this third bullet before we attempt that again, Runo. So I guess they're counting that as the second bullet, not the third one. Maybe I can pit these two, though. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene. Well, first off, let's just press. Let's keep pressing. What do you mean, you're in for a busy day?
Forgot to say, stop. Do excuse me, stop. I am a communications officer, stop.
A communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams?
Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to latest news in the capital. I convert all the messages into Morse code and tap it out to the entire world electronically.
To the entire world?
Thousands of miles of cable under the sea, stop. Worldwide communication network, stop. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe, stop.
Ah, yes. She was getting equally worked up about radio waves or the like before, wasn't she?
I specialize in communicating information from government departments and newspaper offices.
I see.
I'm sure I shall have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. So no sleep for me tonight, I imagine.
Let's just finish the trial first, shall we? Oops, I did not mean to do that. Van Zieks has managed to convince everyone. When you have eliminated the impossible, he said. But he hasn't. If we're going to fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. So just skip all the way to the end and try that again.
Hold it!
I thought you were just a tourist.
Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
There's no way he's just a visiting tourist. So you're a ballistics expert. Who knew?
I have much experience with guns.
Ah.
I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme, violent, bath of, blood of,
Ah, extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps?
Duh, those.
Extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue.
Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a ton.
Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know, no mystery I cannot solve.
He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure.
But, if possible, please, only in Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he? No, still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets. Alright. So, that is probably who we pit against one another. Because he said, if we have a mystery of guns or bullets, we should... Where's an expert when you need one? Yeah, this is it, right?
Objection!
So we put these two against each other. What? Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other.
Ooh, a ballistics expert! Pitting... P-I-T-T...
On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers, but since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you.
This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery?
I have seen very similar
Simulation. Jesus Christ.
I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold.
Golly.
The snow was piling high on both sides of road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds.
I don't want to go Elmer Fudd with him, but he really is pushing that notion in my mind right now. It's like, be very quiet. I'm hunting rabbit. Ugh. It's like, no. This man is Russian. This man is not Elmer Fudd. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. That's your job, dude.
I was shot from behind and I fell down in snow. And the situation was very similar to what I hear today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of, how do you say, exit wound.
Then where did the bullet go?
Bullet never hit me.
Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wound that looks just like bullet wound.
Good gracious.
Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me, and that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
But that doesn't answer the question at all. The shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country. Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. Bruno, where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach, sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals he uses in his investigations. What? Really? Doctor, where is the pouch that Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember.
if I may. Lord Van Zeeks? While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred.
Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch.
Oh boy.
I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that! One of the files is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded.
Exploded?
So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin Brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma.
Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least.
Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Duh. Thank you very much. Glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy.
Now, the summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion.
Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. Could be a valuable clue. You can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryunosuke. There's still a way to turn this around, somehow. I'm sure of it. And we will try to turn this around in the next episode. But before then, there we go. I just want to check our new piece of evidence quickly. It's really scorched badly just here.
Oh, the strap is broken, look!
This must be where the bullet hit then.
Let me see.
Oh, would you look at that? There's a fucking bullet in there. What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it?
Ah! That's the Skulkin Brothers' bullet!
What a stroke of luck that it hit this pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Windibanks that night.
We found exactly what that juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet.
It's time to press that juror again, I think. Oh boy, we're into it right now, and we're gonna get even more into it in the next episode. I was planning on only recording 3 episodes here, and this being the 3rd one, but oof, I'm definitely not doing that now. So, see you guys in the next episode when we finally break this case wide open and I get excited. Very excited. See you then.